All right, dudes and dudettes, let's get back at it. Let's get some bids out. So we're on our way to the registers over here at Gatorama. And again, all their links will be in the description. So if you guys want to follow Ben, follow the family, go to the website. We're going to have all that linked up there in the description for you guys to go over there. It'll be hyperlinked so it's easy for you. But definitely a lot of fun to check those guys out. And if you're in the area, definitely come by and see them. It is 100% worth it, I promise. So today we're going to be helping these guys move some Crocs around. They got some projects they're working on, and we're going to be moving. Well, you'll see where we're going to be moving when we get there. But yeah, we're going to go help the boys out today. And then after that, back to the house to continue decimating my garage back there so that we can rebuild and revamp and redo, which has actually been a lot of fun for me. But yep, here we go. Another day in the life here. So we're going to be probably a few hours over here, and then we're going to be kicking it back to the house to finish up some work over there. It has been cold, but the sun is out today, which is a good thing because we're going to be getting in the water, probably getting wet here as per usual. But that's what we got to deal with. So we'll explain everything as we do it. We got some trainees here too, so we're going to be teaching some people how to safely do this. And when I mean safety, I talk about safety for the people and for the animals. As always, we want to do this as safely as possible. That goes for all sides. So we're going to show you guys how we work together as a team and how important it is for communication during this process, especially when we're moving the larger Crocs. Definitely want to be able to trust the people that you're working with, and you definitely want an open line of communication constantly so that everybody's at the same place at the same time, on the same page, so that nobody gets hurt and none of the animals get hurt either. So it's going to be a fun day. I think you guys will enjoy it. Let's go move a lot of Crocs. Boom! Out. All right, dudes, dudettes, clearly, if we're doing a voiceover, this brain here couldn't figure out how to put all this footage together with all this audio. I thought it was going to be like an hour or two, but you'll see by the end of this that it ran to the end of the day. So my phone died throughout this whole thing, and it's the first time my phone has ever died doing any filming, but we literally filmed for like, I don't know, like 8 hours. So I clipped that 8 hours into 30 minutes, and I am no David Attenborough, so I feel sorry for you guys for having to listen to any of this. Now, what I'm doing here is scanning back and forth. On the right-hand side with the presents right there, what we're seeing right there is the American crocodiles that they have over at Gatorama. Beautiful, gorgeous collection of those guys. And then on the left-hand side, those are all the American alligators over there, and everybody's sunning. When I got there this morning, when I say this morning, which is now not this morning, but it is this morning as we're watching it. So this morning, I should say, it was cold outside. So everybody's outside, everybody's thermoregulating. Remember, these guys are cold-blooded animals. So whatever temperature it is on the outside, that's what they are on the inside. So they got to thermoregulate to be able to, hunt, do their thing, digest their food. Pretty much everything they do depends on those osteoderms on the back. If you look at that animal right there, you can see the scutes coming off the back, those ridges, osteoderms and or scutes, call them whatever you want, but they got blood vessels that run down all over those things, and it's basically a solar panel. It also acts as basically, I would say, a set of armor, so that if another crocodile bites them, they're going to have a really rough time trying to get through that bone, because that's all it is solid bone covered with skin, and each piece fits together like a little puzzle piece. Now I'm going to explain what we're doing here in a second, but we have plenty of time. So with the osteoderms or scutes, if another crocodile, a very large crocodile, were to bite one this size, obviously they're going to make short work of a smaller crocodile, but same size crocodiles, they're going to have a really tough time beating each other up. This group right here, what we're doing is catching and sexing, and we're moving these guys into another enclosure you're going to see at the end of the video. Now I rapid fired this because again, it was like 8 hours of footage I had to crunch into an episode that wasn't going to be painful, especially especially because you guys have to listen to this guy right here doing narration. I wish you guys could have heard the back and forth and all the talking that we were doing, because the key is communication when we're doing any of this stuff. Even with these smaller guys right here, it's extremely dangerous. Now, I'm going to let the parts that play out that have some audio on it, I'm going to let those go, but I'll explain what we're doing to the best of my ability. And remember, no David Attenborough here, so I apologize for you guys having to listen to my banter once again. But we're pulling these guys out. So all these guys in here are about 6 foot American crocodiles. They're about, I want to say they're like 4, 5, 6 years old, something like that. Maybe even a little bit older than that. I forgot what Ben had said. But we're pulling these guys out, and you'll see that, you know, okay, I'm going to let this play out. Hold on one second, because you'll see my big old ugly mug go grab the camera here. For a second. So we got Vinny over here learning, getting his hours, putting the work in. He comes here every Thursday.
And he brings chicken and beef with him too. Flamingo Guards, guys, you gotta check it out.
Yeah. Probably just walk your hands up, pushing him down first.
Really?
Just moving Crocs, Eric. Just moving
So
Crocs.
both hands at the same time?
Yeah.
Thumbs, yep.
Just keep going. The thumbs are gonna go up and cover the eyes.
Pressure,
Pushing,
push.
pushing, grip him.
Hulk Hogan strength.
Yeah. So keep going.
Oh yeah.
Push his eyes in?
Yeah. It's just gonna calm him down a little bit more. You keep working that hand, tight grips the whole way up. And then when you feel secure and you have a tight grip, you can go ahead and lift his head up.
Put weight on him so he doesn't roll.
There you go. Perfect. Work that hand up, left hand up a little further. There you go. Now you feel his jaw underneath, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're gripping onto and pressing down with your thumbs.
And don't think they don't have opening strength.
Oh, no, I know. I'm squeezing so hard right now.
Thought this was a kid's show.
Bleep. No, we didn't let kids watch this.
I think it's still watch.
On Facebook doesn't care. Meta's like,
This one should be a female too, right?
I was a betting man.
You caught it. You fingered it.
I'll finger it.
It's not fingering, it's sticking your finger in the cloaca to find out if it's a male
So
or a
when we do
female.
this, you're gonna put one
Scientific
here.
term. The
Put this
scientific
leg
term
up
is
over the
fingering.
Dude, the funniest thing is we had
No, you're
customers
gonna take
here
it
one day
off.
we were
Yep.
moving
All the
gators.
way
And
over.
there's,
You wanna get to the
plain as
side
day, I
of the
remember this
gator.
kid named Connor.
No,
He
your
was
whole
right
body
there.
over. There you
And we
go.
were moving him over there. He's
Yep.
like, how do you tell if they're
Now
male
take
or
that back
females?
leg, pull it up
I was like,
towards
well,
you.
you stick your finger up their cloaca and you feel something. Can I do it? And I'm like, pulled out a glove. I was like, yep, here you go.
It's a girl.
Ask and
It's a
you
girl.
shall receive. All right, dudes and dudettes. So I, boy, I have tried to do this so many times with the microphone. I got that first little bit before Vinny hops on with the microphone. Now we're gonna have to do this with the computer. I just can't seem to get the audio right with that length of time and with as many cuts as I have in the video. Even though I did the voiceover while watching the video, it wasn't working out. But let me explain it again here, see if we can get it. I'm sorry if the volume is not good. This is off the computer. I can't figure out the mic. It's been 3 days. I apologize, guys. So with Vinny, obviously we do things a lot slower. The goal is to get the crocodiles caught, taped as quickly as possible and moved as quickly as possible. It saves on stress to the animals. And with an animal this size, it's a little bit different. They have a little bit more energy. They stress a lot less. I'm not going to say they stress a lot less, but they contain their energy a little bit better than the bigger guys do. The bigger guys tire out, and they tire out, and then they're done for a little while. You're going to see that when we move the big guy. But with Vinny, we did things a little bit more slow, a little bit more methodical. He's learning, so we want to teach him correctly. And with this size animal, it's a perfect animal to teach him on because we can slow it down a little bit without any risk to the animal, and then we can keep Vinny safe. He doesn't need any missing fingers. There's no point to match bite force on the missing fingers thing. It's not a trophy in any way, shape, or form. It's just a failure at what we do. Now, this is the last catch right here real quick. I don't even think we see the end of this catch because we're going to flip to the big guy here in a second. And I'll do a small voiceover, but I got some sound here coming up.
Crocodile, look. Now we got it. Now you know this thing.
Alright, so small narration. situation. We got a hog leg, no hook on there, it's just a hog leg he's grabbed on. We want to feed the rope over the other rope in hopes that we can get Mr. Crocodile out of there while there's water in the pit. Obviously it would be easier. The tough part was getting that rope over the hog leg, which Clayton, even though he's a master at the area, is having a bit of trouble getting it over. And ready. That was our one and only shot to get him out of the water, and now he's wised up. So now we're in a different situation. We drained the pit, and obviously you see what we got going on here. Big guy's tucked back in the corner inside a cave, which makes things just a little bit more dangerous. So what we're going to do is I'm going to climb my butt inside that cave here in a second. First, we're going to clean this pit because we're moving 2 Niles in there. And I have that footage as well. We'll probably do that on another episode. I just didn't want this one to run on so long. We literally cut like 8 hours of footage into 25 minutes, so bear with me. But now I'm familiar with what's about to be happening here, so I think I can narrate a little bit easier because I've done it 3 times already, and hopefully this one works out. Anyway, I'm inside the hole, and the thing about crocodiles and alligators, the difference is an alligator will lunge, and then he may lunge twice, and then he's going to fall short. The crocodiles are a little bit different. Not saying that the alligators can't run at you, they can't lunge at you. That's a possibility, but it's just a little bit different. Years of working with these guys, you pay attention to different behavioral things that they do, and with the crocodiles, they'll lunge again, and they'll keep running on their back feet. So I'm paying attention to body language of the crocodile, especially when he's tucked back into the corner, because he can use that corner to his advantage and fling himself towards me. His mouth is wide open. You can't see it. He's popping jaws. And because his mouth is wide open, we're going for a top jaw rope. So I'm in there just going to take a little piece of bamboo, wrap that rope around the 2 big teeth, and then we're going to pull him out of there. In a second, once I feed this PVC pipe back out behind me, I think we're going to see that here in a second. There it comes. And now I've already got him roped. So when I come out, you're going to see him violently shake here in a second. And we get him away from the walls. There's the violent shake. Now we're going to pause. And the reason we're pausing is very simple. We don't want him to hurt himself at all. And we got to get him through that little narrow slot in the wall, so we don't want him to bang his face on either side. So the plan is we're waiting. We're going to let him settle for a second. We get Dan on the other end of the ropes. There's 3 of us. Once we pull with everything we have because we want him to slide through that hole without shaking back and forth. And he's stronger than all of us. Trust me when I say that. But we're going to go very quick. Beep, beep, beep. And straight out, kind of controlling that shake. And then Ben goes with a shirt. He was dying to take that shirt off. Over the top of the crocodile's eyes is just to calm him down a bit. He flings it off, but we'll get the shirt back on there in a second. Now, he is on concrete. We don't want him to roll. We cannot stop this crocodile from rolling at all. He's a giant beast, and there's nothing that we could do to stop him from rolling. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to my advantage. Because once we get it caught, then we can get on top and we don't have to have them roll. So what you see me do is with my right hand, I'm keeping the tension, and with my left hand, I'm feeding the slack over, and I'm allowing this croc to tie itself up. So the jaws are tied shut. Now, I don't usually put my hands on a face of a croc unless somebody's on the back of it, but I know I always do that. His mouth is tied shut. So once I get on there and he's upright and the rope is fully secured around those jaws, I have Dan jump on, and then everybody else jumps into action. It's always a team effort. We're talking consistently. Again, I wish you guys could hear the banter back and forth because we take things very seriously. We joke around a lot during the day because it's a long day. We're all buddies, so we like to throw our jokes in, but when it's time to work, it's time to work, and when we're doing something like this, we take it extremely serious for 2 reasons. For us, and then obviously we want the animal to be as safe as possible. Now, usually we'll readjust, we'll take the rope off, but for this guy right here, the rope's already tied around the jaws. So what Ben's doing is he's just going to tape the jaws shut around the rope itself, which is perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable. When we use electrical tape, we use the sticky side up first. We'll do a couple of bands around, then we flip it and we do the sticky side down. Reason being is because if you're transporting in a long distance run, you don't want that sticky side on the jaws of the alligator and or the crocodile because it's just bone and skin. So if you have the sticky side down and you have a long transport, which this one was not a long transport, we're just moving it from one side of the park to a temporary enclosure on the other side of the park so that we can get him his 2 girlfriends and rebuild a new enclosure for those guys. But we still use the sticky side up because we want to save that face. So long distance traveling with that sticky side, you will see some problems. Now, you'll see us trying to stop the roll of this alligator, this crocodile. We usually don't stop the roll, but it's on concrete. It's going to go once, and then we're going to go right back to it, and we do our best. Clayton's got the back feet there, and then Dan's going to put a lock in, and then I'm on the head while Ben is getting the vet wrap because we're about to tape these eyes shut too. Now, he uses, again, well, we're not on the vet wrap yet. We're trying the rest of the electrical tape. Brain fart. It's early in the morning. I've already done this a bunch of times. Bear with me, guys. Like I said, I'm not David Attenborough. I'm not the greatest narrator ever. But regardless, we're going to get the eyes basically done up, and the reason is just to keep them a little bit more calm. So it doesn't save, you know, basically us in a sense that he can't see us, so he's not going to hurt us type of deal. They can still hurt. Even with the mouth taped shut, you got to remember it's solid bone with a little piece of skin. Very powerful animal. And if he hits you in the face while he's whipping around, or if he hits you in the knee, shin, anything like that, he can decimate some bones. So remember, these guys fight in the wild with each other, and they're literally banging their faces against each other with very minimal damage. So you got to figure a very strong crocodile like that against a kneecap or a face, yeah, you're not going to win that battle. So now we have the vet wrap. Vet wrap is around the eyes, and it stays pretty well throughout the whole procedure that we got going on. It starts to slip off once we move them up the ramp, which you're going to see here in a second. So now we got to figure out how to get this crocodile up and over the wall. Two ways to do that. Either we all pick it up and put him over. The danger with that is if he starts to shake, he's at head level. Well, at least for Ben he is. Sorry, Ben, I love you. I love you. He's at chest level for me. But either way, if he starts to shake, we have little control once we lift him up over that wall. And if he starts to wiggle, shake, roll, he could get hurt. He could hurt us. The worry is that we don't want him falling 4 feet to the bottom of a concrete pit, especially when there's no water in it to save it. A couple of fist bumps. Everybody's happy. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's got their fingers and appendages. So clipping to the next point, we got Clayton here, built us a little ramp in like 10 seconds or less. Thank you, Clayton. He's pretty good at building all this stuff. He's been building out a bunch of stuff at the park. The park looks phenomenal, by the way. You guys should go check out all the new stuff they've been doing over there. So you can see the tractor in the background. And we're trying to make things a little bit easier. This is the only point in time where I didn't have the tripod. Thank you, D, for the tripod. Helped out. And the reason I brought the tripod is because we needed all hands on deck. And obviously, I don't want to disturb the workers and have somebody carrying a camera for me while they're over there trying to help out just as much as I'm trying to help out. So the tripod is what we had. The tripod is what we got. But at this point, Vinny was able to kind of get behind us and see what we got going on. So basically, long story short, we got this big old croc, and you see with me on the back of him, and I'm a big boy, but he makes short work of walking me around. But that's what I wanted, kind of. I want him to move forward because we're putting a much larger, softer rope right underneath the armpits because we don't want to pull from the rope that we caught him with. And the reason is because it's only wrapped around the top jaw, and even though he rolled himself to the point of tying himself shut, it's still just wrapped around the top jaw and those top two teeth. We don't want to put all the pressure and the weight on that crocodile when we drag him, especially with the tractor, on that top jaw. It's going to rip the tape. Obviously, the rope would come off afterwards, and then he's got a wide open mouth, and we just don't want that much pressure on two teeth on the crocodile. Could we do it? Yeah. Should we do it? No. I'd rather do it this way. So we're going to pull him up, and then we have a couple of volunteers. Vinny, you guys already met. Ty, you'll see the white shoes right there in the back. Ty, Omar. They were calling him Ty, but I think his name is Omar. Either way, he was a good guy, very good guy. So what we're doing here is everybody's talking back and forth, trying to figure out what we're going to do. So the tractor's ready, and you're going to see we're going to move him into position to kind of get centered into the ramp because, again, we don't want him falling. So I'm going to go up a little bit here. Yeah, hand me something to hold on to. Oh, boy. Oh, I don't want to slip. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have tension on the rope. We're going to pull him into position, and I'll show you here in a second once we get the camera on point so that I don't jump the gun here. All right, so Ty right there in the sweater, he's going to be pulling towards that wall. The tractor is going to be pulling out. And the reason that I got him pulling in a different direction is because once the tension comes on, if we just pulled him straight, he's going to fall off the ramp. So while the tension's on the rope and the tractor's pulling straight, Ty's going to pull to the back end of that wall, and that's just to get the crocodile centered in between the ramp. We want him as close to center as possible, and then you're going to see me and Clayton. Clayton's doing most of the pushing. There's an eyeball that pops out, so I cover the eye. But we're pushing pushing from the back end. And the reason is very simple. We're trying to give the croc as much support as possible so that we're not just yanking from one point and there's no pressure on any one point, more than we can, never mind. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. Basically, we're trying to keep the crocodile as comfortable as possible. Boom. We'll say it like that. So you're going to see here in a second, the rope's going to start to tighten up. The rope's going to start to tighten up. You figure I've done this 3 times that I would know the timing of this, but it's really difficult, but we're going to roll with it. There. So rope's tightening up, and then you're going to see him pull backwards. Boom. He's pulling backwards. That's going to force the croc over towards the middle. And then once he's in the middle, then we're going to adjust, and then we can pull straight. So Clayton and me get on the back. We're going to give a nice little shove on the butt end of this crocodile. And you can see the crocodile's tired. He's a big boy. Not much of a fight. And then once they get to this point, they do tire out relatively quickly. And even though it's a short move, you can stress a big crocodile like this to death if you don't do it correctly, especially for long distance traveling. It's a really, really sketchy thing. It always makes me nervous. Alligators tend to do this much better than the crocodiles do. An alligator is going to keep its energy. An alligator seems to travel a little bit better than most large crocodiles. We can do it. You just have to be safe about it. And you got to be quick about it. So basically now we're on concrete still, so we don't want to rub them up too much. So when the tractor pulls, we got to give them over that little step right there. It's only about 1.5 feet, so no big deal. So I get on the back over here, and I'm going to grab the top of that rope, lifting up. Clayton's going to help me out as far as pushing still. And here we go. Here we go, Clayton, you're making a liar out of me. So tractor's pulling, and then I'm pulling upwards. Whoop. So we're going to lift him up over that step right there and then get him on grass. Once he's on grass, we stop pulling with the tractor. And it's very simple. The reason is because we can all pull on grass a lot easier than on concrete, and then we don't have to worry about his belly getting scrubbed up or anything like that. So we don't have to lift anymore. So we get Ben to go over and grab the bucket for that tractor. He's got the forks now. That's what we pulled with. So we're going to switch things up here in a second. I think the position of the camera is going to switch in a second. And then I think we do have some sound. So I am going to shut up here in a moment and let the sound do its thing. And then I'll kind of pop in here and there just to make a few jokes and maybe explain some things. Here, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up now. Awkward silence. I shut up too soon.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Pull! All right, so we didn't get to film us basically carrying this over the wall into this temporary enclosure, which is where the little crocs were earlier on. Again, the reason why Mr. Crocodile went in this enclosure is because we're going to build an enclosure for him to have 2 females of his own so we can get more production out of this. I say we, but it's Gatorama doing all this. I just help. So we get the rope out of the mouth. Normally, I'm not going to do what you're about to see, which is basically lifting the jaws of the crocodile, but he's super tired. But you're going to see in a couple of seconds. I come back 15 minutes later to check on him and watch. 15 minutes afterwards, this is what we get. Boom. That's exactly what I want to see. And here's the other enclosure we moved the small guys into.
Everybody's moved in. They're gonna fill this up.
Watch this.
Here, which makes
So cute.
really
Super
cool.
cute.
These guys are doing well.
Beep, 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 beep.
Gallop there. Right there. Oh, boy. Well, thought it was just gonna take a couple hours. Took a lot longer than that. Some walking going on. Bunch of happy
I'm
problems.
about to lie to you guys. So,
I'll show you the Niles before we leave, and then we're done with the day, except for I have to go home and do the whole house. So,
that was not a lie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed the voiceover. I tore this thing up multiple times, so hopefully the third time's a charm. I say third time, but I think I've done this like 10 times, and I'm sure you hear the kids talking in the background right now, but that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, love you guys. If you guys want to check out the links in the description, we have everything there, from the Facebooks to the websites to the Patreons to the you name it, we got it. It's all linked up in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I really wish I could have had some audio on this. The mics they're a little bit difficult with the longer episodes, especially when we have 8 hours of footage to be able to do this. I'm going to plug some pictures in here so you guys don't get bored staring at a black screen. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, this was a tough one. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thank you guys so much for all the support and love you guys give. We'll see you on the next one. All right, guys. Boom. Out.